Every morning the world starts quietly, one soft light at a time. Homes flicker awake, shops open. People take those first small steps into a brand new day. And in all of that ordinary movement, there's something kind of extraordinary. A moment worth noticing, a spark you feel before you even name it. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's small, but kindness shows up right on time. And every morning we choose to show up with you so we can look for that spark together.
Good morning. I'm Matt Roof, the Uncommon Kindness Guy, and this is Kindness Rising. Let's rise together.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, friends. As always, we are here on Kindness Rising. Welcome in to the show today. Let me ask you something. How long does it take to form a first impression? A second, maybe less. We see a person, the clothes they're wearing, the car they're driving, the neighborhood they're from, maybe the way they talk, and before they've spoken just a few words, we're already starting to write their story. Today, we're talking about a moment in American history that looked like it was about fashion, but it really wasn't. It was about identity, belonging, fear, and what happens when people stop seeing human beings and start seeing stereotypes. Let's rise above the noise today. Good morning, everyone. Jess, I am glad you're here. First one in this morning to Kindness Rising, where we get up and get after it, just like we do every single day. I am so glad you're here. And Sully, here we go. Sully is here too. Welcome in. We're going to talk about some stuff that went down. Out in LA in the 40s. We're going to be talking about a who in the world. We're going to talk about what happened, been happening, and a big one happened just yesterday. Kathleen, welcome. Big one that happened yesterday with the firing of Scott Pelley at 60 Minutes. Woo, boy. Legacy media is changing for sure. That was a big one. Scott Pelley out at CBS. We'll talk a little bit deeper as we get going. Don't forget to get involved in the chat out there. That's what we're doing today. We're going to start with a conversation about being human and how quickly we categorize people. Not necessarily because we're bad people, but because we love our little shortcuts. Our labels, grouping people together, predicting. It's a really efficient way for our brain to understand things. But it's vital that we remember that people aren't categories. We aren't headlines. We aren't stereotypes. We aren't what we wear. We aren't what we listen to. We are, though, our stories, our complete and our complicated stories, like the facets of a diamond. That's what I say. Absolutely. We contain multitudes. I know you guys know that. Our messy stories are beautiful stories. Stories that we don't know about each other. We learn about each other every day, and every once in a while, history reminds us what can happen when those assumptions outweigh the curiosity. And when labels become stronger than empathy, and that is where we're headed today. Absolutely. Good morning, Roseanne. Mother is in the house. Sully, Jess, everyone. Mom, good morning. I'm glad you're here. We're talking about stereotypes, and we're going to be referencing stuff that happened in the 40s. And then I'll be up to see you, Mom. I told you, today's the day. I'll be up to help you build that furniture. We're going to do it. So there you go. I don't have to call you, Mom. I'm coming up after the show sometime, and we'll build that furniture and get you set up. A little insight into my day today. All right. That is the way it goes. All right. Well, we do have to get our who in the world in. Of course we do. Of course we do. Who in the world are we going to be talking about today? This episode, as I take a step back from what I created and go, what did I do? It's a little all over the place. But let's go. Let's get going. Who's who? who in the world, long before influencers told people to be yourself, this writer built a career doing exactly that. All right. That is our first clue in our Who in the World for today. Long before influencers told people to be yourself, this writer built a career doing exactly that. And let me tell you, I'm sure he probably, I just gave a clue. All right, see, I slipped these clues in if you're listening and paying really good attention. Good attention. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure he probably did and had something to say about the Zoot Suit riots, which occurred on this very day, 1943, because that is that happened today? The Zoot Suit riots in Los Angeles. You know the Zoot Suit? You know the Zoot Suit, right? The bold-fashioned statement, the big brim, the long jacket, flared pants. Absolutely. Zoot Suit riot. Early people remember the song Zoot Suit Riot, but do you really know what a Zoot Suit Riot was or is? Absolutely. Long jackets, wide shoulders, high-waisted, and baggy pants. It's an image you can't forget. And if you're a Grateful Dead fan, you absolutely know the Zoot Suit, right? From the guy walking down Shakedown. He's got a name, but it's a classic Grateful Dead image. But back in the 1940s, for many Mexican-American youth and Black and Filipino and young Americans, the Zoot Suit was a symbol of identity, of culture and self-expression, a way of standing out, a way of saying, this is who I am, right? Every generation has something like that, right? But remember, America was in the middle of World War II and resources were rationed. Communities were under stress. Racial tensions were simmering right underneath all of it. Yep. And many Mexican-American young people, unfortunately, were unfairly portrayed in the newspapers and public discourse as troublemakers, regardless of who they actually were. The Zoot Suit itself became associated with those stereotypes and fears, and absolutely led to unfortunate violence on this day. Several days of violence starting on this day, unfortunately, between white and Mexican Latinos being attacked. We know of the famous story of groups of civilians basically targeting youths wearing Zoot Suits, kids getting beaten by mobs of people, humiliated, publicly stripped of their clothing, right? Police often arresting the victims rather than the attackers. Does this sound at all like something we might understand? A piece of clothing had become so loaded with assumptions that people stopped seeing individuals. They stopped seeing people as sons, as friends, as students, as neighbors, and they saw a category, a stereotype, a symbol. And that's what strikes me about this story. History tells us again and again and again that conflict begins when people don't see people as people. That's called being kind. You are my kin. We are one in humanity. When we reduce complex human beings to a label, a group, an other, somebody else, what looked like a dispute over fashion was really about a lesson about belonging with the Zoot Suit riots, prejudice, identity, and about the consequences of deciding who someone is before we've taken the time to really know their story. That is the Zoot Suit riot. Just for a suit. Yeah, well, the suit was the identity. The suit is... I need a sticky note on my computer to remember to click that one little button that says show comments on stage. That's all it is, one little button. There's everybody's comments, seeing each other chat out there. I appreciate you. That's the story of the Zoot Suit. I think we can draw our own parallels and remember, but I think a lot of people didn't. I think a lot of people. What am I? Who am I? A lot of people say. A lot of people. Do people? I guess I'll ask that question. Did people know what the Zoot Suit riots were, other than a '80s song with a Latin beat? All right. The Zoot Suit Riot, it was depicted partly in the film American Me. I don't think I know American Me. What is American Me? How do I not know that? That's a film, a title I'm not. Yes, that's exactly true. I don't think they were World War II vets because it happened during I think they were actually servicemen, soldiers. Unfortunately, there was, most adult men at that time, many adult men at that time were soldiers. Oh, it's an Edward James Olmos film. All right, I'll have to check it out, Sully. I must have missed that one somewhere along the way. But I appreciate it. Again, we learn from each other every day. American Me, starring Edward James Olmos, who I enjoy as an actor. I believe he's gone now, but definitely an iconic, certainly iconic Latino. I don't know what the proper terms are these days, always, but I try to be sensitive. Anyway, regardless of his heritage and his culture, pretty intense dude. All right. Anyway, we got off on the Edward James Olmos tangent instead of sliding right over to our spotlight. Today's spotlight. Great little segue. Sully always helps with the segues because we are going to do it. The National Association of Latino Arts and Cultures, for decades, they've worked to elevate Latino artists, preserve cultural heritage, and help communities tell their own stories through art, music, theater, dance, and creative expression. And honestly, that's the powerful work to overcome stereotypes. Absolutely. It's all about exposure to people, real stories, real experiences, and art has that unique ability to create empathy, to help us see ourselves in people whose lives may be very different from our own. The Zoot Suit riots reminded us what can happen when people are reduced to assumptions, but organizations like the National Association of Latino Art and Culture, they remind us what happens when people are allowed to tell their own stories. Absolutely. I didn't do the whole link, but the National Association Latino Arts and Cultures, check them out, the work they're doing. Be curious. That's all we can do together. Absolutely. All right. Thanks for sticking around here on Kindness Rising. I am glad. I am honored that each and every one of you out there in the world is choosing to spend your time here with me. So don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to check out the other programs on Mornings in the Lab at mornings.network. You can check us out there. And also don't forget, friends, that I do enjoy having conversations with people. So look me up, check me out, go to LinkedIn and you can get my bio. You can schedule time with me. There's actually a link right there on my LinkedIn page to schedule time with me if you're curious to have a conversation. I'd love to meet each and every one of you live, or together, or Zooming, whatever you want to do it, however you want to do it. My link will link you to a Teams meeting, something of that nature. Anyway, come on out. Sully, Jess, bring Patty with you. We'll have a party. Anyway, let's hang out. Clue number 2. We got to move into clue number 2. Clue number 2. Where are you? Clue number 2. Who's who? Who the heck is who? No, who in the world? Remember our clue number 1. Kathleen's already sniffing it out. I sensed after yesterday that she might be sharpening her pencil. We stumped, I think, everyone. Or was it Kathleen who stumped? Somebody. We stumped everybody yesterday. All right. Long before influencers told people to be yourself, this writer built a career doing exactly that. How about number 2? Numero deuce. Clue deuce. Still rocking the kindness spotlight theme behind it. Their work was controversial enough to land them in court, and it influenced many major artists like Bob Dylan, Patti Smith, and The Clash, and Kindness Rising to some degree. Absolutely, I give credit to this writer as an influence. Not a huge influence in my life, but I have read and understand the influence and the connections that we'll talk about when we do the reveal later on in the show. Whose work was controversial enough to land them in courts and influence artists like Bob Dylan, Patti Smith, and The Clash? Kathleen, was that a confirmation of your hunch? I don't know. Maybe it was. Jess, you're exactly wrong. All right. We'll keep going, though. We'll keep going. Hunter Thompson, yeah. We'll talk about Hunter maybe at some point on this show. But that's not one today. All right. Spotlight Anthem. Oh, there you go. All right. How about the future of media, which is already here? Woody Guthrie, Arlo Guthrie. Oh, good guesses all around. Are we sniffing around? Yeah, I get it. Woody Guthrie would have been, yep, definitely, but not the answer to this. Again, another tremendous influence in on some of those artists, for sure. Dylan, we know that. But we'll talk more about that later. Anyway, we've got to talk about the future of media because I promised people. Have you seen them? Have you seen the headlines coming out of CBS this week? Man, they are blowing through that place with a torch. No kidding. And the big one, Scott Pelley publicly challenged CBS leadership amongst that overhaul. And guess what happened to him? Barry Weiss, Tom, I don't care about who their names are, Nick Bilton. These are the people who are making this change that are reflecting the growing tensions about how America's most respected legacy news brands are evolving in this rapidly changing media and political landscape. Sure, we can frame it as newsroom drama if we want, but what we're witnessing isn't just conflict between personalities. It's the result of the collision of media eras. For 50 years plus, media has worked like this. A small number of organizations create content, the audience consumes it, the network controls the distribution, and the station controls the airtime. But today, the audience is the media. Me, creator. Smartphone can I'm not on a smartphone, but a smartphone can reach more people than many local television stations ever could dream of. A podcast can become more influential than a syndicated talk show. So here's the thing. The gatekeepers, they haven't disappeared. A LinkedIn live stream can create deeper trust than a polished 30-second commercial. The gatekeepers, they're still there, but the gates are gone. The future isn't traditional media, it's social media. It isn't social media. It isn't even really creator media to me. Yeah, a little confirmation bias in this for me, a little bit of supporting my own assertions, but it's true. We're watching it happen right here. The future is live media. Human beings want to interact. We want to interact with each other. We want presence, conversation, authenticity, participation, all these things. And that's why live streaming is growing. The reason why podcasts continue to evolve, shifting more into live streaming, and the reason why we're here and why communities matter. This is the media now. But here's the thing. A lot of people are thinking that AI is going to replace this media, but they're replacing it. But I think if we're smart and we are focused on it, we don't lose our sights. AI can simply amplify. It can help us create the content and organize the ideas and repurpose information, right? But it cannot replace the human perspective. That's why where we're living is where we're living right now. That's why what I'm building is where we're living. I don't even remember what the heck. I had a great way of saying it, but that's what we're building. We're building at the intersection of AI and human, and that will always be part of what we are at Kindness Rising. Recognizing, right, that's where we live as humans. We live at that intersection. It's no longer this or that. It just is the intersection. It's what we're doing at Mornings in the Lab. It's not about the death of media, the death of legacy media. It's about the evolution of media. And whether you're a broadcaster, an entrepreneur, a consultant, coach, founder, or a creator, the question isn't whether media is changing. The question is, how are you changing with it? Remember, we used to say, what's on TV tonight? Now we're asking, who's live? Who's live right now? Very different businesses. Very different businesses. That's what we're building here at the Mornings in the Lab Network. All right. You know, I always got to sneak my commercial in. It's not even sneaking. It's just blatantly there. No, it is. It's just because we believe so strongly at Mornings in the Lab with Keith and John and Cheryl and Adam and Sarah. I mean, all of us, we're proving our belief and our hypothesis. Absolutely, that the future of media is live right here on the Mornings in the Lab Live Network. All right. How about clue number 3? How are we doing? We've had some really, really good guesses. F. Scott Fitzgerald. Mom, nope. Nope, not F. Scott Fitzgerald. Not F. Scott Fitzgerald. Not Woody Guthrie. I love this. This is great. All right. The third clue is going to give it away 100%. I always like to just kind of hand it to you at that point. Long before influencers told people to be yourself, this writer built a career doing exactly that. Definitely the people who you mentioned, Hunter Thompson, Woody Guthrie, F. Scott Fitzgerald, absolutely. Their work was controversial enough to land them in court and influence Bob Dylan, Patti Smith, and The Clash. And here it is, the one that I know is going to clinch it for all of you. Not that. Oh, life. I did it again, guys. I added the wrong image again. Idiot. There you go. His most famous poem begins with the words, I saw the best minds of my generation. Howl, if you know his name, we'll get to the reveal. Celebrating the birthday of someone who howled in the 40s and 50s. Anyway, let's get to the kindness compass while you think about the howler. Spotlight it. There we go. Let's look at 5 ways to move beyond labels this week. Certainly our Who in the World refuse to be labeled. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to ask one more question. Most assumptions don't survive that kind of curiosity. Learn someone else's story. Every person you meet is carrying context you cannot see. We all have backstories. We all have origin stories. Check out the Origin Stories series on LinkedIn. Each one of the hosts of Mornings in the Lab Network is now producing their Origin series on LinkedIn. So learn someone else's story. Notice your first impression, then challenge it. Whoa. Not every initial judgment deserves permanent residence in your mind. Why don't you spend some time outside your usual circles? Different experiences build empathy, and different people expand perspective. Absolutely. Go out there and find a group of people who aren't necessarily the same as you and spend some time with them. Be curious, ask questions, get involved. One way to get involved is by helping. That's the way you learn, by getting involved and actually taking the action to help someone or group. You learn about their perspective and build that empathy. Lastly, please replace your judgment with wonder. Instead of asking, what's wrong with that person? Try asking, I wonder what brought them there. Small shift, huge change. Not what's wrong with them. I wonder how they got there. That is your kindness compass for today. Thank you. All right. I haven't looked in the comments for a while. Anybody? Good job. Allen Ginsberg. Jess is the winner. Allen. Yes. Yes. Allen Ginsberg, beat poet, hugely influential beat poet, along with, Kerouac and Burroughs and that whole crew, Ken Kesey, all artists that I enjoy. Obviously, this is peeling back the layers. Not obviously. I'm telling you, it's peeling back the layers. These are the influencers of guys like Robert Hunter, who wrote the lyrics for the Grateful Dead, right? And Jerry Garcia wrote the music for the Grateful Dead. All friends. Mind-opening ideas happening in the hate, right? Kathleen, at the time, but today would have been Ginsberg's birthday. Yeah, if you've never read Howl or experienced Ginsberg, and you want to be open to something, do it. Beat generation icon, a cultural disruptor, the original cultural disruptor. Yeah, Howl ended up in a major obscenity trial, which he won. Yeah, he spent most of his time challenging that conventional wisdom and questioning authority. If you ever see a picture of Ginsberg, you're like, who's this? Who's this professor? No. Center of a landmark obscenity trial that ultimately expanded protections for artistic expressions across America. That's why he was huge. He is one of the OGs of authenticity. Absolutely, loudly, uncomfortably, honestly, in a world that constantly pressures us to fit neatly into a box, absolutely, or into a category. His is a pretty remarkable legacy. Absolutely. All right. Well, that's the show for today. I can't believe it. We blew right through it all. We talked about zoot suits. We talked about Latin, spotlighting the Latin cultural arts. Revealed Allen Ginsberg with some great guesses. Yeah. All right. That was the point, Sully. Absolutely was trying. I'm trying to make them challenging, yet not so challenging that that's not fun. And I like to keep it cool. And Ginsberg, I think, is pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. All right. Just remember this as we load on out of here, that every person has a story and every culture has something worth learning. Every community has something worth celebrating. And that is what kindness is: looking a little deeper, listening a little longer, assuming a little less. So let's be this generation. Let's keep being the generation that chooses curiosity instead. Let your freak flag fly, says Jess. Much love to you too. I appreciate you. Not a better way to send us out of there except this. Until next time, stay uncommon and stay kind.